Hi, Krystal Jackson with Barbee Jackson Insurance, here to talk to you today about Contractor General Liability coverage and what protection it actually offers you. So let's get started with the most basic part of the coverage that's going to pertain to your business as a contractor. That would be your bodily injury and property damage liability. This is done on an occurrence basis, meaning any one instance. It will pay bodily injury and property damage at the limit you've purchased on the policy. Now, what is an example of this coverage? Well, if you are working on a job site and somebody gets hurt, let's say you're putting a beam up on the roof to set rafters, and that falls and injures another party, not an employee. That's an important note, and another coverage covered in a different video. That will be your bodily injury liability. You also have property damage coverage. So let's say you're doing work on a home, and in the process of installing the wiring, you damage another part of the home. That would be your property damage coverage and something that would pay out there. The next coverage is personal injury and advertising injury liability. This is what will cover you as a business operations as far as outside of the actual construction work. Good example, you're on social media and you decide that this other contractor is doing poor work and you're gonna just let everybody know about it. That person then sues you for libel or slander. That's going to be your personal injury coverage to protect you. The advertising portion is pretty straightforward. False advertisement, claims relating to how you're portraying or advertising your business would be covered there. The next, and probably one of the most crucial parts of the coverage, is products and completed operations aggregate. This coverage is going to provide protection after the work is completed and you have left the job site. A good example here is a drywall contractor who's putting up drywall in the home. They screw through the drywall and nick a plumbing pipe. They don't know it, it's behind the drywall, and then 6 months, a year later, we now have water damage, mold, and subsequent damage. That will all be covered under the products and completed operations liability. The next is the general aggregate liability, or the general aggregate coverage. Contractor liability policies are written on a 12-month basis, and the aggregate is the maximum payout for all claims for that term, or 12 months. So if you have multiple claims, be it bodily injury, property damage, personal injury, whatever the claims may be, if they hit that aggregate, for example, $1 million occurrence policy with a $2 million aggregate, multiple claims totaling $2 million, at that point the policy is capped and will no longer pay out for any future claims. The next coverage is damage to rented premises, and you may also see it written as fire legal liability. This coverage can be important if you rent an office space that you're working and operating out of, and you leave something plugged in that causes a fire in that office space. This will pay out to the damages to that property of the space that you're renting. The last coverage on the policy is medical payments. This coverage will come into play if you're working on a job site and that job site is in your care and somebody gets hurt, not related to any work you've done and not caused by you, but simply because they are on your job site. Again, not an employee, a third party. Medical payments can pay out. We often say this is a way to help avoid a larger liability claim. The general liability policy for a contractor can be completely customized to meet the needs and operations of the specific contractor, and will oftentimes include endorsements added to the policy such as additional insureds, waiver of subrogation, and an expansion of the completed operations coverage. For more information about coverage and types of policies offered, go to our website, barbeejackson.com, and don't forget to like and subscribe.